Hello and welcome. I am Wim van den Broek and I'm the product manager for Gig Tech. And today I'm going to show you how easy it is to deploy a Minio instance on top of our Gig Edge cloud platform. So what you see on the left here is a set of predefined stacks, and one of them is Minio. So this is a demo that we use to show how easy it is to deploy automated stacks onto our platform. So let's choose Minio and basically decide where we want to deploy it. So here you see a few of our developers. One of them is Frederick, and he is the one who basically prepared this demo. So I'm gonna choose this one because he has the rights to deploy the instances. We're gonna choose a location. In this case, I'm going to choose Gig Belgium. I choose the cloud space. Basically, the cloud space is where our customers deploy their applications in a secure and multi-tenant way so that other customers cannot see what they have, of course. Then next, I define the instance name. So in this case, I will call it Minio Test. And today it is 12 October. I decide how many instances I want. I want to have only one instance this time. There are already some predefined information here. Another thing I want to do is I don't want to create a persistent instance this time because it is just for demo purposes, so I don't need to have persistent storage. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to change the port to 32249 to make also this Minio instance available to the outside world. So the summary of what will happen, we will basically deploy this Minio instance in the Minio namespace on our Kubernetes cluster in Belgium, right? So what you see on the left here is that now we are basically in progress of starting to deploy our Minio instance. So Minio is basically a S3 compliant virtual storage appliance that gives us the ability to provide S3 storage to end customers in an easy and straightforward way, right? So normally if you had to set up a Minio instance, it would take you a few hours, and now we are going to do it in a few minutes with our completely automated stack. On the right here, you basically see two other screens. One is the Kubernetes cluster where we are going to, or where we are deploying basically the Minio instance. And the one on the right is below is basically our Gig Edge Cloud Platform admin portal. What you see here is already a pre-set or defined ports that we already have to access basically the Kubernetes cluster and some other machines we have. But as you can see, there is not yet a definition of the port we have defined, 32249. So that needs to be, populated automatically by the plugins we have basically built on top of our own API. Basically, the two things that we use to deploy this Minio instance is, first of all, Terraform. Terraform is built to deploy infrastructure, right? And basically also Ansible, what will do the configuration once the Minio instance is basically deployed. So as you can see on the top right, we are now deploying a Minio instance on a Kubernetes cluster by basically using Kubernetes. So Kubernetes basically is now deploying a pod and a container on this Kubernetes cluster so that we will have a Minio instance available to store basically data through S3. So what will happen now is basically we are deploying that Minio instance, and then we will predefine some things inside that Minio instance. So we will define the password, right? So the password we are giving basically here is as a username is Minio, and the password is Minio123. So by default, if you would create a Minio instance, you will get two passphrases basically, but here we basic change already that upfront, so to make it easy to log in. We will also create a DNS entry, like you can see here. So we will basically refer this instance to this location with this port defined, right? And then we are ready to go. So deploying a Minio instance takes a few minutes, right? It's normal because normally it takes hours to set it up. But as you can see, the container is already deployed and up and running. The other thing we need to check for is, of course, is the port forward created? So is this instance available to the outside world? And as you can see, we have already made that port forward in our cloud space or in our virtual data center so that it is externally available to the end users. So again, to summarize what we have done here so far is we have deployed a Kubernetes, we have deployed a Minio container in a Kubernetes cluster. And we also have made a port forward on our Gig Edge Cloud platform to ensure that it is available to the outside world. So let's see if the Minio instance is already up and running. So let's click here. And as you can see, the Minio instance is up and running. And what we can now do is we can just simply log in with the username Minio, password Minio123. And so the Minio is set up and ready to go to be used. So I can now simply create a new bucket. I will give it the name WVDB. And now I have a location to store my data, and I can start storing data for my demo. This concludes the demo. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and see you next time. Bye.